What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to talk about Record Buster, because I actually, kind of glad I didn't make this video earlier. You guys pointed out to me the other night that LILI is an insane asset to a team, and I guess I just undervalued her, to be completely honest. So, let's go ahead and talk about that, and let's see how much damage we can get out of a team now that we have the new LILI actually on the team. Okay, LILI being right there in the final slot where we'd normally put Ninja Anya. So let's talk about this team real quick. First of all, we've got LILI in the front. LILI's there for the 33% SA gauge charge, no magic, no mystery, and then of course I've got the Asvi tied to her that does single target damage. Really nothing too crazy there, and the best part about that is LILI's buff, since Ravis removes debuffs, is going to stay and play the whole game. Then we've got Light Haruhime, and that is with the Light Seer attached to her, and really they should need no introduction, but just to be on the safe side, Light Seer herself. Magic plus 20%, light and wind damage plus 15%, so obviously we don't need wind, but light is going to be super, super helpful there. Because we're an all-light team. Excuse me. All-light team. So, Light Haruhime, remember, her SA gives us 80% light damage. So, that's going to buff everybody up. And then when we bring in OG, she's going to give everybody 100% magic and strength. So, everybody's pretty much just going to wreck house. Plus, the really nice part about Light Haruhime is that where Ninja Anya would normally remove strength buffs, we're actually going to use Light Haruhime for that strength buff removal. Okay. Slot 3, Lina. Lina is a beast. Lina is so good. I've done whole videos on her by herself. She should need no introduction. And since we have already buffed Magic and Light, I actually gave Lina my biggest magic buff, which is, or second biggest magic buff technically, which is Demeter. My other biggest magic buff is actually a 20% magic, so since we need to debuff magic, and Demeter's magic buff is so insanely high, she's going to be our best one there. It is worth noting the new Haruhime has a slightly higher magic buff and also debuffs magic, but I don't have her max limit broken, and I'm not going to chase her. So, for the slight change, I mean the numbers are like single digit differences, maybe double digit at, you know, by like a factor of 10, not like anything higher than that. That the new Haruhime is slightly better, but once again, I'm gonna say without a shadow of a doubt, if you have Demeter, it is really not worth chasing Haruhime. Just let that one come organically through tickets and whatnot. That's my 2 cents. I think it's really, really, really worth saving right now, and I say that as somebody who just blew probably about 2,000 Iris on the banners, and I really do regret it. I mean, I'm glad I've got LILI here, but I'm not going to chase LILI to max limit break. And as you'll see in the run, for what LILI does, she doesn't really need max limit break. She's going to be fine just like this. So, I really feel like LILI kind of is okay on her own at this juncture. Now, I do have Erebus attached to her. And the main reason I do that is because Erebus, whereas the other unit is the light buffer, he's a light debuffer, and he does strength and magic plus 20% whoever he's tied to. The rest of the team is magic, so we need one person that does strength 20 and one person that buffs light. It's absolutely perfect. Now, like I said before, LILI, her best quality is her SA. Her SA gives her 100% SA gauge charge, so the sooner we can get that off, the better we can do. And I feel like I'm gonna, even for the run I'm gonna show you, which is gonna be good and score very highly, I feel like there's even something better out there, which is something I'm gonna work on later on today. But the run I'm gonna show you here is kind of the run I've been doing, and it scores very, very highly. It will not be a top 50 score, but tonight on stream I will be working on that top 50 score super hard. Finally, Shakti. Now, Shakti is gonna swap in on turn 2. She's obviously got the Apollo assist, and that's to debuff the physical, just so Lily can do a little tiny bit extra damage. Lily's not really a top damage producer, so I'm not really losing any sleep here. In fact, there's probably a slightly better build I could do here, but this is what I've got going for the time being. So I'm going to play with a couple different configurations, but I really feel like letting Lily do a little bit of extra damage, because remember, her skill 3 is going to hit hard. Her SA is kind of wimpy, but we've had units like this before, and it's actually paid out. So, plus Lily does extra attacks. So, those extra attacks are going to be really nice, along with that skill 3. And the one time she does her SA isn't really going to change much. So, having somebody who buffs a little bit more of that, I think is going to be pretty worthwhile, personally, my opinion. But finally, on turn 3, Haruhime comes in, replaces both Line and Shakti. If you don't know how that works, the revolving amulet basically allows somebody to come in for one turn and then leave. So you'll see how that works when we finally get to the game. But you need this OG Haru for the 100% magic and strength buff. While that doesn't affect Lina too much, I believe there's situations where it actually will come in handy, but it's going to affect everybody else. And of course, she heals, she does buff up replication. She shouldn't need any introduction. You know who she is and what she does. And of course, I've got the Fin Assist attached to her to give everybody else a little bit more SA gauge charge. So that's pretty much the team, guys. There's not a whole heck of a lot else to really say here. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the fight. And yeah, let's see how this works and what differences Lily actually makes to the team over having Anya. So hopping right into battle here, let's go ahead and do our general buff stack. We're not going to do anything too crazy here. 33% SA gauge charge, we'll call it. Everybody else just kind of buffs up. And nothing really out of the ordinary in this regard. Now, Lily isn't going to change anything more or less until turn 4. Turn 4 is when we really start to see changes in this team. Now, of course, Shakti comes in, and when we do Shakti's event here, we're going to do physical resist. We really have to do that to make sure that these 3 units are going to survive. Haruhime might wind up with some survivability problems. It happens, but it is the nature of the run that we've decided to do here. And I apologize, apparently I'm losing my voice. Was not aware of that. That is apparently a thing. So I'll go ahead and try to get this out before my voice completely disappears. For some reason, unbeknownst to me. So we're going to go ahead and do all of our general debuffs now. Actually, in this case, Lily's first skill is debuff and her second skill is her buff. But it doesn't really matter. It's still a 1, 2, 3 stack for her. It's not really anything out of the ordinary. Alright, here comes Haruhime, and with Haruhime, we're just going to do Yosuga on this turn, just to make sure all our buffs are replicated a couple turns more. Remember, Revis is going to remove debuffs, not buffs, and she does that on turn 6. So, in this situation, we just got to make sure our buffs last a little bit longer. So, let's go ahead and do skill 3 with everybody on this turn. Nothing really stretching out of the ordinary here. Now, turn 4 is where it's going to get fun, exciting, and a bit weird. Now, we're going to go ahead and do Haruhime's SA. Remember, buffs aren't removed. So, in this situation, if I go ahead and do Haruhime's buff here, we're giving everybody 100% strength, 100% magic. So, and that's going to stay pretty much in play with the exception of... with the sole exception of with Lina. But that's fine. She removes hers anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of a waste to worry about her. Everybody else is going to get the 100% buff and get to keep it. Now, normally, and I will emphasize normally, with a run like this, you would have Anya hitting or somebody on the back. That's going to remove the strength buff. You've got to remove that strength buff. The downside is here, we don't really have anybody on the backside that can do it the same way that Anakitty does, or it's the same way that Anya does. Ninja Anya, someone that you would normally run on this run. So we've actually got to use the Light Haruhime for that. Her skill 2, which is a normal debuff, will actually remove strength and agility buffs. Now, we're not really so much worried about her agility buff. We're really worried about her strength buff. But this will remove it. We're going to be good to go there. We will have to rebuff double tap with Lena. So we've got to do that. And with Lily, she's got 1 turn left on Pink Sweets. So we're going to have to rebuff that. So we're going to do an essay with Haruhime. We're going to do skill 2 with the Light Haruhime. And skill 1 with the other 2. And why not skill 3? Well, simply put, we don't want to lose those extra attacks that those 2 skill 1s are going to give us. It's going to be really, really, really important. Whew, I hope I'm not coming down with something. It's like, I just started streaming, or started recording, and my nose starts itching, and my throat is just acting awful. So, yeah, fingers crossed on that one. All right. I'm not too worried about this one. This hit is going to be nothing. Her strength buff is gone, and it's not really her big hit anyway. It's turn 12 where Haruhime might have some issues. We just need to make sure we don't get crit. Nothing I can do about it. If it happens, it's just a thing. Now, on this turn, we've got to do Yosuga again, get those buffs back up, and make sure that those buffs do not expire. Okay, I'm going to go back and do skill 3 with everybody here. And like I said, we've just got to make sure that Yosuga keeps everything in play. So we're going to play this very, very, very cautiously. There we go. And we're good. Now, I do not want to get caught with my pants down on turn 8, so I do need to make sure that we re-debuff on turn 6. She's going to remove those debuffs at the beginning of the turn, so we're going to do Akane here with Haruhime. We're going to do Cicada Shell one more time with this Haruhime. That's that big single target debuff. We could wait till turn 8 to do it, but there's no point. We got to do it now. We got to get it out of the way. Okay? With Lena, we're going to go ahead and do the Magic and Light Resistance just so we get the extra damage out. And remember that skill 1, the one that actually rebuffs Pink Sweets with Lily, is actually her big hit. So that's another big change with Lily. We're now rebuffing or debuffing that and rebuffing her extra attacks. We could have waited an extra turn to do it. I personally find that it's just kind of better to get the extra attacks out. Though her third skill does hit like a truck. So I think this is still a better strategy overall. Getting the extra attacks rather than getting 2 turns with the skill 3, I think does math out to a little bit more damage, but I could be wrong. A lot of it can come down to, do we penetrate or crit? So I just take the gamble every time. So, our debuffs are back in place. That's good news. Turn 7, I'm going to check the buffs here. So, we got 2 turns on everything there. 2 to 4 turns, actually, on everything here. She will need to rebuff double tap, so we're going to do that on this turn. And she should be good to go as well. Yeah. Because remember, Lily's skill 3 is going to rebuff everything anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and do her skill 3. Now, on this turn, I'm going to do Sheikah. Since everybody's buffs are good to go for at least 2 turns, I don't have to worry about them removing everything, and we need to make sure that Haruhime has basically, if not full MP towards the end of this, she's going to need something similar to that. But I'm going to wait a couple turns. That might be a mistake. Generally, I do this on this turn, so I'm going to continue doing it on this turn rather than gambling on a new strategy. Because you need to run Sheikah at least once, if you can afford it twice, but at least once, to make sure that after turn 12, you're good to go. You do not want Haruhime running out of MP. That is a guarantee that your whole team is dead. So, we're going to do Sheikah, try to rebuff that MP. I know our MP isn't incredibly low, but running out of MP with her, is a death sentence. So let's go and do that. And let's go. I think I just saw that we were doing skill 2 with Light Haru, and we needed to be doing skill 3. Yeah, we were doing skill. Should have done skill 3 on that turn. I thought I said skill 3, but apparently I messed that one up. So we got to do Cicada Shell on this turn anyway. We lost a tiny bit of damage, but it's not groundbreaking stuff. It's not going to affect the long game too much. Just understand I did mitigate my damage ever so slightly there. So turn 8 is, once again, we got to remove her strength buff on this turn. So we had done skill 3 and then skill 2 here anyway. We just kind of had a little mistake there. I'm going to do skill 3 with Lena. Remember, every time you do skill 3 with Lena, you have to rebuff her magic anyway, so we're just kind of moving on with our day there. So we're going to do skill 3 again. Then we're going to go back and do skill 1. Basically, we're going to do skill 2 and then skill 3 again. So skill 3, get a big hit out. Skill 3, get a big hit out. And Sheikah was going to now be Yosuga. So if we do Sheikah again, that's going to be a mistake. That is going to let our buffs expire, and we're going to hate life. So we need to make sure that we get Yosuga out of the gate here. Very, very, very important. All right. Go girls. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So with the strength buffs removed and with the debuffs all in play, I'm not worried about this one. Bam. The last one, so it hit just about as bad as the last one. The last one we didn't have any debuffs in play with the Haruhime. We didn't have the 40% debuff, but that's fine. We could have tanked it. This one we pretty much needed that. We could have survived it, but it's not worth the gamble. We've got everything we need anyway, so let's just not play games, not risk it. So we're going to do Yosuga one more time. I'm going to go back and do Mayfly because we want a little bit of extra damage out of that. I'm going to go ahead and do double tap again because we really need to... remember, every time she does skill 3, she removes her magic buff, so we need to rebuff her magic buff, and it's going to rebuff her extra attack as well. So that's going to be really important. Lily here is running out of pink sweets, so in this turn, I'm actually going to do her SA gauge charge. Meant to mention that before. The nice part about this, pink sweets being her big debuff, we really want that on turn 10 anyway, and if Lily doesn't get her SA on this turn, we're very simply put not going to we're not going to do very well. So my goal here is to get Lily to do her SA here, build up a double SA, and do that in the next possible occasion. That's going to give us another double SA towards the end of this. So her SA is about to change the whole world. Lily's SA gives her 100% SA gauge charge, so with this team build, that is going to be a world-changing situation. So we're going to do that on this turn, and that's our stack. Let's go. It's also really important to do Haruhime's Yosuga on the same turn that we do this to keep that replicated, because we need that 100% SA gauge charge until the end of the game. If we run out of that, life no bueno. So we're going to keep a big eye on that. If that runs out, that basically means we're not going to get our 2 double SAs. And we really need those. We need those. They're pretty much mandatory. All right. So now if we look down here, her 100% SA gauge charge is good for 6 turns, and Lily's skill 3 is going to buff that anyway, but we need to do pink sweets on this turn just to make sure that we get all the debuffs out. Remember, Revis is going to remove her debuffs at the beginning of this turn, so we're going to go back and do Akane here. Cicada Shell for the single target debuff, and one way straight for the magic and light resistance debuff. So, boom, debuff's gone. There's another reason why it's really good to keep icons on, because you can watch what Revis is doing. And there we go. Now, you will notice that Haruhime's MP gauge is starting to hurt a little bit again, and that's fine. Frankly, we need to get through turn 12 with enough MP to do a big heal in turn 13. That's our biggest issue, and we've got 409. So we basically have 3, maybe 4 if we're lucky turns with that MP, and that's exactly what we need. So we did plan this perfectly. So we're going to go back and do Yosuga on this turn and just keep replicating. We're going to do Sweet Splitter. That's Lili's big attack. All her buffs are in play, and the really nice part is her skill 3 replicates all her buffs anyway, so there's nothing to really worry about there. Lili's basically going to be staying in buffs. That's good news. Okay, we're going to do skill 3 once again with Lina. That does mean we're going to do double tap again on turn 12, but that's fine. It really doesn't matter too much. Actually, no, I take that back. I take that back. We have our double SA. So I'm actually going to do double SA with Haruhime and Lina on this turn. So let's go. Remember, that's going to give everybody 80% light. Lina already has, she doesn't have 100% magic, actually. I take that back. But she did just recently rebuff her magic, so she good. She good. Boom. So we should get a good hit out here. And you want to make sure that you have Lina's magic rebuffed. That's another reason to do her skill 1. Not just to buff her extra attack, but to keep her magic rebuffed every time you do skill 3. Nice. And you'll get a good hit like that if you keep her in that kind of damage. And that's what we want to see. That's literally what we want to see. Boom. Boom. Alright. And I apologize, my voice is super raspy. I don't know what's up. I really don't know what's up. But it's a thing. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Alright. So now, Rebus does her big buff. Now, remember, that strength buff got to go away. If that strength buff does not go away, we dead. So we're going to have to do skill 2 with Light Haruhime to get rid of that. That's got to be gone. If that is not gone, that's a problem. Now we're going to do skill 3 with Lina, and we're going to continue Sweet Splitter with Lili. Lili's got 2 turns left on Pink Sweets, so in turn 13 we're going to have to rebuff Pink Sweets, get the extra damage out. Let's see. Same with Lina, actually. So we're going to do skill 1 with those 2 next turn, but for now we're going to do their skill 3, get their big hits out. Cicada Shell is going to remove the strength buff, and we just did a double SA, so we're good to go in that regard. There we go. You'll notice Haruhime has just enough MP at this point to get off at least, we'll have to see what her MP regen gives her, but get off one more at least Yosuga, and that's going to be really good because we need the heal after this turn. Actually, I take that back. We really don't need the heal. Alright, so we got to go back and do skill 1 with these 2. It's just mandatory. And at this point, we can spam Light Haruhime's skill 3. It's just, yeah, just that simple. At this point, literally, she's just going to do that. We didn't take an insane amount of damage, but if I'm honest here, let's see. I don't think we have anything running out. I know she doesn't. She doesn't. She doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and do Sheikah just to make sure we're still in the right penetration rate and make sure that we have everything good to go. Pardon me. Whew. Well, now my nose is running, so I'm going to be chugging NyQuil before bed. That's good times. Alright. So I'm going to do Yosuga one more time on this turn. Actually, 3 turns is our lowest there. I can actually just do Akane on this turn. I really don't need to buff replicate at all. We're going to do Pink Sweets. Lena, I can do one-way straight. I am completely out of MP with her now, so I can't do her big attack. That is unfortunate, but that's fine. One-way straight will be fine. We really want that big SA here on turn 15, so Akane's not going to do much damage, but every little tiny bit helps. Every little tiny bit helps. And I suppose that means we probably could have done Yosuga on that turn, but, you know, it being a thing. So now, we've got another double SA, and if you're wondering why I'm not SAing with Lily, it's because Lily's SA doesn't have a boost. Her SA really doesn't do anything, so another double SA with our two big hitters is absolutely perfect. Let's go! And perfect. Perfect, girl. Crit and penetration for us. Nice. Very nice. All right, let's see what Lena does. Yes, I do watch the essays. I think the essays are especially hers. Hers is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I just love her essay. Nice. 2.6 with crit and penetration. So, good numbers there. Great numbers. Let's see what our final score is. We're just going to bash through that one because I think that was kind of boring. And it doesn't really do a lot of damage. Boom. Boom. All right. Let's see what our numbers are. Didn't quite best our best one, so got a little bit of work to do on my team stack there, but I think it's very important that Lily does change things drastically. Drastically. Lily gives us the ability to do an extra essay that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Now, there is some argument to maybe doing Lily's essay earlier. I haven't tried that, but it is something I'm going to give a shot to. But neither here nor there. That is a big, big improvement over scores even from before. I believe that 900 plus is even possible without hacking or anything. So I'm going to continue working on my score. But Lily definitely has changed things. I wish I had her MLB, but frankly, I'm going to be honest here. The amount of damage she does between 3 and MLB shouldn't be much. It's all about getting that SA gauge and getting the other two to really do their thing more often. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Like, comment, and share. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi with the news later on today.